Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to Corruptor, the Caliph, and the Corruptor. In today's episode, let's discuss the Corruptor, the liar, the Dajjal, and his 40 days and 40 nights of rule, of establishing his rule through a crowning ritual. Let's just consider that those 40 days and 40 nights, we've got the day that is like a year, a day that is like a month, and then the rest of the days play out as a sequence of normal days. Now, we could consider this in a literal, chronological manner. We could consider this in terms of symbolism, or as I'm advocating that we do, we take a holistic approach, utilizing literal, linguistic studies, socio-historical context, etc., as well as symbolic. So we look at all of the data from as many different angles as possible as a whole in order to establish what the patterns are and in order to synthesize the data into sets of meaning where we can derive practical, applicable knowledge and find meaning and insight that's going to be of benefit to us as individuals and as a collective. So when we consider the day that is like a year, let's consider the current context. Current is related to electricity, it's related to radiation, it's related to the jinn, it's related to the shayateen, it's related to technology and to magic. Now, in our current context, things kick off at the end of 2019, where we have events taking place in Wuhan, China, CCP-run China, and all of the context related to that. And we also have Event 201. Now we have the transition from the end of 2019 with an illness that now is plaguing the world. And transitioning into 2020, we go a whole entire year of traumas and dramas, of lockdowns, of curfews, of curtailing of freedoms, of curtailing of movement, of the shutdown of various local and regional and national economies to a great extent, increasingly. In a holistic manner, and the shadow side of holistic is, of course, totalitarian, and I would argue that they're using an inverse of porridge hadith. Porridge hadith means we eat around the edges, that the center is where the blessing is. That is a hadith that we can apply practically to every aspect of life, from study to cleaning the house to cleansing the body systems of toxicity. They are doing a version of porridge hadith in order to push forward their agenda of the one-eye system, which the Dajjal system utilizes symbology of the serpent and fangs, and utilizes the symbolism of the one eye. So remember, the Dajjal, the liar, the corruptor, the pseudo-messiah, the false intelligence, the artificial logos, the artificial fake truth, the false one, the falsifier, the artificer, the artificial one, the one who brings artificiality, the totalitarian one, the authoritarian, the opposite of a caliph of the earth, a king of the earth. So they're rolling out a ritual to bring forth his crowning. This is a crowning event. A corona event, if you will. This is also related to sun worship. So by the end of 2020, the world is sufficiently traumatized and a solution is presented. This solution is rolled out increasingly over the entirety of 2021. Now it turns out we've got 2019, 19 guards over hell. Now we've got 2020. It goes on for an entire year. Then 2021 is actually 2020 Part 1. So we got 2020 Part 0, the startup. Then we've got 1. And the solution is rolled out all year long. Whether it's a solution or not, it's in the eyes of the beholder. This is related to the mark of the beast, at least the precursor of such, and the rollout of the Antichrist, the falsely anointed one, the one who holds mercy and paradise in one hand and hell and trauma in the other, and chastisement. And our Nabi, peace be upon him, he says to go towards the liar's apparent hellfire, because that will be mercy. So really, we've got moving from the artificial realm to the natural organic realm. So 2021 is actually an extension of 2020. Now we're in 2022. 2020 part 2. And this could go on like this through 2020 part 3, 2020 part 4, all the way through 2029, which is interesting because the solution is presented in 2021. And remember, there's Agenda 2021 and there's also Agenda 2030. Do the research and find out what's related to Event 201, Agenda 2021, Agenda 2030. This is all related. Also, September 11th, 2020 is 19 years. It's the 19-year anniversary of 9/11, which holds 19 within it. And then 9/11 2021 is the 20th anniversary. So those 19, 20, and it keeps on building sequentially. And this is interesting. So just consider the numbers. I'm not into numerology and whatnot, but just consider how this might go. And what I would say is that we're dealing with people who are ritualistic and think in ritualistic manners. So anyway, 2020 seems to be ongoing nonstop. It's the never-ending year. We're still in 2020. We're still at the end of 2019 somehow. So this seems to me the day that is like a year. It's just ongoing, going and going and going. But give this some contemplation, some consideration, and pray with it. Ask Allah for guidance. Ask wise and compassionate Truth Most High for guidance in these matters. Are we in the year that, or in the day that is like a year? Are we in a time of deception? Are we in a time that transitions from from organic to artificial, from reality to falsehood, from truth to false? Are we moving in that direction? This is an interesting question to ask oneself. So, until next time, be safe, make a lot of sajda, spend time sitting and contemplating and meditating in nature as much as possible. Know yourself to know your Lord. Take time to know who you are, to know who we are, to know what our potential is, and seek to achieve this potential and to reach your spiritual maturity and to assist others in achieving their spiritual maturities. So until next time, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.